If you have Hashimoto's, you want to help your body heal from the root causes of the condition. Using the right supplements is essential to this process. In this video, I share with you 8 supplements that are needed to heal from Hashimoto's thyroiditis, but also I share with you an off label drug that is different than you might think. Are there other things that you should be doing besides just taking supplements for Hashimoto's? Absolutely. We need to talk about some foundational things. We need to talk about diet. It's a huge thing. Hashimoto's is a autoimmune condition, so your immune system attacking itself. So we need to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. We need to identify what foods and these type of things. So we're diving that in the future, but we're going to talk about that. The first supplement I wanted to talk about for Hashimoto's is selenium. This is a very important mineral. It helps us convert our thyroid appropriately. So it helps us convert T4 to T3. It helps our thyroid production. So it's very important for appropriate thyroid function. So people with Hashimoto's, their thyroid is not producing T4 appropriately, and it's affecting how you make thyroid and also how you convert thyroid hormones. So selenium is very important in helping people manage their thyroid appropriately without absolutely needing to have to get on medication like liothyronine or NP-thyroid or etc. Another one I wanted to talk about is iodine. So people might be like, oh, you don't want to take iodine. That's horrible. It's bad for you. It's going to actually suppress your thyroid and make it not work. Actually, we need iodine for our thyroid to work appropriately. And also there's research of iodine decreasing the inflammatory state of the thyroid. So it's a very important mineral that we need when we have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And a lot of people with Hashimoto's are not getting enough iodine in their diet. So I like to do a certain test. It's a iodine elimination test to really see if people need iodine or not. It looks at functionally if your body's using iodine. And if your body's holding on to the iodine when we do the elimination, it means, oh, you need iodine. And if you eliminate a lot of it, it means you don't need iodine. But iodine is needed for the inflammatory state. It's also needed for your body to actually make T4 in your thyroid. So that's what you actually use to get inside your cell and make your cell work appropriately. So obviously we need iodine, and many people are deficient that have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So let's move on to another supplement I recommend. And these are going to be all in a similar category. The next 3, they're anti-inflammatory agents. So first one is turmeric or curcumin. I like curcumin. It's the potent form of taking out that anti-inflammatory molecule called curcumin out of turmeric, and it helps decrease that inflammatory state around the thyroid. It also helps detox our body. And a lot of people don't have good detoxification mechanisms happening when they have this autoimmune condition, and toxins are many times a big cause of what's going on. So turmeric helps to do that. Also, there's a lot of gut issues going on with people that have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So we need to decrease inflammation in the gut. So turmeric's doing a lot. Boswellia is very similar to the functions of turmeric. It just hits it from a different angle, blocks different mechanisms of action, but it's going to decrease the inflammation around the thyroid, help heal up the gut, help with detoxification also. Last one is fish oil. So what's great about this is going to help the cell membrane of the thyroid. It's going to make anti-inflammatory portion of the cell membrane. So many times with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, they have inflamed cell membranes. So every cell in the thyroid gland is inflamed because of the cellular membrane got inflammatory fatty acids. So when we put fish oil in, it helps replace those and put in good anti-inflammatory fatty acids in there and decrease inflammation of the thyroid that way. Next one I want to talk about is, and this is a category 2 of 3, is redox. So redox is when you oxidize and reduce in all cells appropriately. What happens when someone gets chronically ill, like with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, is their redox reactions aren't quite working appropriately. And I'm not going to dive into all the science behind it. It'll bore you to death. But what is very important is you need to appropriately release and bind oxygen throughout your cell for it to be able to function appropriately. And when you don't have that happen appropriately, it causes this chronic inflammatory response. So glutathione, vitamin C, and vitamin E work off of each other to help the body reduce and oxidize appropriately. They're strong antioxidants. And the strongest one that we have is glutathione is the most important. That's what our body does to reduce all the oxidative states in our body, which are causing damage from the autoimmune condition. And then we recycle that and help that out by vitamin C and vitamin E. So we need those fine balance between those. Glutathione is going to reduce, then we need the vitamin C and vitamin E. And glutathione is like inside the cell. Vitamin C is in this cytoplasm, and then vitamin E is on the outside of the membrane. So we need all three of these working off of each other for things to work appropriately to help the thyroid decrease this inflammatory state. Next one I want to talk about is quercetin. I like this one because it's going to decrease the allergic reactions that are happening throughout the body. I haven't seen a Hashimoto's thyroiditis patient that didn't have certain food allergies or reacted to chemicals, etc. So quercetin is my favorite treatment to actually decrease this histamine response that's happening throughout the body. The next treatment I wanted to talk about is not really a supplement. It has to be prescribed by a doctor, and it's a off-label medication. I like this because there's so much research on this medication on modulating the immune system. That's a key term right there, modulating. It's not like prednisone or other anti-inflammatory agents that just block the whole inflammatory cascade. What we've seen with this therapy called low dose naltrexone, it's called low dose naltrexone therapy because high dose naltrexone is actually used to help people get off of heroin and opiates, but it works completely different when you do low doses. For example, high dose is 50 to 100 milligrams. Low dose is 1.5 to 4.5 milligrams. So back in the day, researchers started researching what can happen if we manipulate the opiate receptor. Opiate receptor is just a name that was given. It doesn't mean that just opiates act on that receptor, and receptor is a little docking signal site on your cell, okay? So they started playing around with medications, and they found naltrexone, and they started seeing awesome things happening. They started seeing this modulatory effect for the immune system, and they saw it being awesome for autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And they started seeing that Hashimoto's thyroiditis numbers, like thyroid peroxidase, thyroglobulin antibodies, were going down when people were taking this low-dose naltrexone. So I really love this therapy. I prescribe it for a lot of my patients to really get this inflammatory state under control. So do I ever prescribe prednisone for my patients? Never. Never done it in my life for Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and you shouldn't. Conventional docs don't either. There is way too many side effects to it. Will it decrease inflammation? Yeah, but there's all kinds of other side effects to do that with it. So no, I don't combine prednisone and low-dose naltrexone. Low-dose naltrexone is combined with the other anti-inflammatory herbs and nutrients that I just talked about. So yeah, supplements are not the only thing we need to take with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, okay? That's just it's a piece. They're important, but really we need to do some foundational things. And foundational is we need to modify our diet. We need to find out what foods that we are reacting to. We need to take away the inflammatory foods, which can be different for each person, but there are some basic inflammatory foods like gluten, dairy, and corn, and refined sugar. Many times those are very inflammatory and not good with people with Hashimoto's, especially gluten. Every patient that I have with Hashimoto's, I'm taking gluten away. If you just take these supplements, it's treating some of the causes, right? But it's not really identifying them all. So you need to go to a doctor really that can identify all the multiple factors going on, all the multiple causes that are really causing Hashimoto thyroiditis to really heal appropriately. Yeah, so if you want to get a hold of me, visit my website, www.integrativemedica.com. You could call my receptionist and set up an appointment that way. You also could set it up directly from our website. If you want to learn more about thyroid health, click my videos to the right. I'm Dr. Jake, and I'll see you there.